listening, reading, and critical thinking. We are going to know about Eva Musa, Zahi Hawass, Baize, Rami Ashour, Ahmed Zaki, and Neil Armstrong. Eva Musa. Eva Musa is famous because she was the first Egyptian woman to go to high school. She helped other women to succeed in education and work. She wrote a book about girls' education in 1908. She also became the headmistress of Al-Muhammadiyya School for Girls. Zahi Hawass. Dr. Zahi Hawass is one of the most famous archaeologists in the world. He often speaks on radio and TV. He sometimes writes in a magazine called Egypt Today. He wants to bring ancient things back to Egypt from museums outside Egypt, like statues, jewelry, and of course the Rosetta Stone, because Egyptians don't see these things if they are in other countries. Baize. It only rains every 20 to 50 years in the western desert. However, 2 million years ago, very heavy rain fell there, and a huge quantity of water collected under the desert sand. Today, we need this water, and the person we have to thank for finding it is one of Egypt's most famous men, Dr. Baize. Remote sensing. Dr. Baize, who is a space scientist and a geologist, is the director of remote sensing at Boston University in the USA. He is the world's greatest expert in remote sensing, the use of satellite to find water under deserts. Underground water was found in the western desert and in Sinai, thanks to the photographs which he took from satellites. Space projects. From 1967 to 1973, Dr. Baize worked on the American Apollo space project, which landed men on the moon. He gave advice on where the astronauts should land and told them how to collect rocks and soil on the moon. Dr. Baize was born in Zagazig in 1938 and was educated at Ain Shams University. Rami Ashour. In January 2007, Egypt's internationally famous squash player Rami Ashour won an important championship in Canada. But what do we know about this young man? Rami was born in Cairo in September 1987. At the age of 16, he became the youngest player to win the Men's World Junior Squash Championship. In 2006, he won the championship again. In the Hong Kong 2006 championship, he was second. He lost to another Egyptian squash player, Ahmed. Rami's older brother, Hisham Ashour, is also an expert squash player. Ahmed Zaki. Ahmed Zaki was born in 1946 in Egypt, where he grew up. He went to Alexandria University. He finished his studies in the United States in 1974. After this, Dr. Zaki worked at the University of California. In 1976, he became a professor at the California Institute of Technology. In 1998, at the age of 52, Dr. Zaki won the Benjamin Franklin Medal because he discovered the femtosecond, which is 1/1,000,000 of 1 billion of a second. Many scientists, students, and important people came to the ceremony and saw Dr. Zaki receive his prize. 1 year later, Dr. Zaki got the Nobel Prize for Chemistry. Dr. Zaki now lives in California and has 4 children. His wife, Dema Zaki, is a doctor. He now helps scientists to make new medicines. Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon in 1969. He traveled with Buzz Aldrin. They stayed for nearly 90 minutes in the first day. In the second day, they collected rocks and soil, took a lot of photographs, and sent back more TV pictures to the Earth. Now, it's time for questions. Answer the following questions. 1. Why is Nabawiya Musa famous? She is famous because she was the first Egyptian woman to go to high school. 2. What's the job of Dr. Zahi Hawass? He is one of the most famous archaeologists in the world. 3. What's a remote sensing? It's the use of satellites to find water under the desert. 4. What did Rami win at the age of 16? He became the youngest player to win the Men's World Junior Squash Championship. 5. What did Dr. Zweil get the Nobel Prize for? He got the Nobel Prize for Chemistry. 6. How long did Neil Armstrong stay on the moon? He stayed for nearly 90 minutes in the first day. In the next day, they collected rocks and soil, took a lot of photographs, and sent back more TV pictures to the Earth. Now, read the text below, then write the word which best fits each space. Nabawiya Musa was the first Egyptian woman to go to high school. She helped other women to succeed in education and work. She became the headmistress of a girls' school. Dr. Zahi Hawass is also famous as an archaeologist. He sometimes writes in a magazine called Egypt Today. He is interested in bringing ancient things back to Egypt. He wants to bring kinds of things like statues, jewelry, and the Rosetta Stone. Thanks for listening. With Nafham, learn easily and simply.